This is Tony Ray Baker and mine, our third session. Tony Ray has been nationally recognized as one of the top 1% producers, has been selling real estate for a lifetime, 27 years. As you come into the group, if you don't mind hitting your mute, I'll try to find it for you. I met Tony through Broker Agent Advisor. I do a lot of interviews with potential candidates for being recognized as Broker Agent of the Month. So if you have your certificate of excellence, you're qualified for consideration. And Tony was recently recognized as a Broker Agent of the Month for the state of Arizona, out of Tucson. And he and I have gotten to know each other. And Tony's a giver. He likes to share from his experience, has trained hundreds of agents. And so he'll talk a little bit about his 6-part system for managing and getting business out of his sphere of influence. And today, the topic we're going to discuss will be websites. Again, if you can hear me and you haven't muted your Zoom, please go ahead and do so. Tony, good to see you again, my friend. Month number 3, session number 3. I will do my best. For anybody that has any questions, feel free to offer them up in the chat so we can kind of manage traffic that way. But Tony will try to pause, from time to time to field questions. This is a topic that he's spent an entire day, 16 hours training on with a group of agents, and we're going to try to compress the valuable elements of it to about 60 minutes. It typically runs over by a few minutes, but we're going to try to keep it to an hour just to give away some of Tony's expertise and experience, and hopefully it's beneficial for everybody. So Tony, appreciate you sharing your time again today. Thanks for being here, and I will do my best to help us stay structured and organized as we move through the next 60 minutes.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, I will. I'll try to. I love the word try on this because, I just get going and then I don't stop talking. So I broke this into pause spots so we can help get through. This is very technical on some ends, of course, because it's websites. So good morning, everybody. I'm really excited to. I'm excited to see so many people here that are caring enough to want to jump in on websites. Typically, it's something that steers agents away. They get afraid. They're afraid of them, or they just don't think they can do it, or they're expensive, or there's all these myths out there. And today I'm going to hopefully plant a whole bunch of seeds that'll help you understand how I built one website, and did it on my own. And it cost me nothing but hosting and serving at GoDaddy, which was back in the day, maybe, I don't know, $20. And it was a blogger website. And as I learned SEO and I learned Google, that website ended up, started producing leads, and it started really producing high quality leads. And today that website for the last 10 years, that website always produces about 8 million or more in production for me. And so besides my referral business from clients we've worked with, the cool thing about the website is it's very turnkey. Once I got it started and rolling, it actually, I can be sleeping, I can be in Mexico on the beach, that thing's working and it's bringing in new leads. And so it's something I think most agents miss. And I'm really excited for you guys. I hope that I'll inspire just some one of you today. Would excite me that you get excited to start a website. I will warn you, it's not a tomorrow thing. Like all business, anything you do today is going to hopefully result for you in 90 days or 120 days from the actions you take today. But a website is a long-term, it's forever with you. And it's important because it is going to be your business. So I'll give you a little background because we're on part 3 of this. And as Brian, as you said, you can go to the Broker Advisor YouTube and you'll be able to watch all of these different parts. And I'm going to probably refer to some of them throughout this. But the reason we're here is because I've been teaching real estate classes for free to agents around the United States for 20 years. I started teaching because teaching helped me learn quicker, and it helped me get ideas from you. And then I would take those ideas and I could work with somebody and brainstorm, and I would put that together to help manage things in my business. So I want you to know that one of the reasons I'm interviewed a lot on podcasts and I'm on different magazines and stuff like that is not because of the volume I do, but because of the life I lead. And part of the life I lead is because I have systems like a website that help me generate leads and not have to pay for them. I pay for the website, but I don't have to pay Godzilla or any of those places to get me hopefully something. And we all know how those work. So I just hope today you learn you can have a life, and you can look at me and I'll tell you, I did not get to go to college. We were poor. I worked 2 jobs. I tried taking community college classes, and I worked a lot, and it was really rough on me. I ended up trying to do that for 6 years until my mom said, you really need to become a real estate agent. So I don't know how that worked out, but she knew in her brain I needed to do it. So it resonated with me, and I started studying real estate, and that's how I got here today. Last year and most every year, I take 6 vacations. One of them is typically 30 days in Europe. Sometimes we do 2 30-day vacations in Europe if we can. And then we did not work weekends last year. I did not work nights last year. And so basically my schedule is Monday through Friday, and it's typically 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I work a full day. I mean, I can put in a 10 to 12 hour day easily, but I put that all in my work week without weekends. So that is possible. I also we manage an Airbnb, and we have long-term rentals, and we still have a very high quality life. The other thing that's really cool is this last year, I just talked to my CPA yesterday, and I just wrote a check for $110,000 to the IRS. So, and the reason I'm telling you that is because to write, we should all hope that we all write checks for over $100,000 to the IRS, because that means you're actually making profit. You're making really good money. And all of that's possible. I know in my heart of hearts that all of that's possible because I took the time to learn how to do websites, and I took the time to implement and put structure in so that they would work for me. And that's what they're doing today. So you can do this. That's my message to you. You can do this. I'd like, Brian, can everybody pop in a yes if you have a custom website right now? I'd like to get an idea of how many people have websites.
How do you define custom? Just a business website in
Yeah,
general, regardless of the server
I
or the
want to
hoster?
business website, not a page on the broker's site, but you have your own website. I'm trying to get a grip on which way to go with some of this information. I'm seeing, I see a Bouge website just popped in. So that's a CRM site. I see yes is popping in. Yep, lead capture directly to CRM. Cool. This is cool. My thing is showing me as they're flashing by.
Just a couple of notes.
Yeah.
HomeSnap
So for the most part, it looks like we have a good group here that have actually started, which is awesome. So I'm going to really gear towards that. And our folks that don't have one, way to go, Rob, just starting. Our folks that don't have one, this information is going to be really relevant to you because you're going to start off doing it the right way, hopefully. And for all of us who are in there, we can start tweaking sites. Okay. So just to get the legal stuff out of the way, the first thing I would tell you is know your state laws. In Arizona, my state law is that I have to, on the top of the website, above the fold, and above the fold means I don't have to scroll. So the consumer does not have to scroll to see any information. So that's the top half of the website when you arrive. So in Arizona, at the top above the fold, somewhere above the fold, I have to have the broker's name, my name, and phone number. And that's not a lot. I would highly recommend you also incorporate the equal housing opportunity symbol above the fold as well. They are getting very strict on equal housing. They are coming after the agents there's some major violators out there that are doing some really horrible things, and we need them to stop. So you really want to make sure that you are doing everything you can to support our communities with every way we can. So an interesting fact is that on April 14th, a statistic from Statista came out, and in that statistic, the new number is 93% of home buyers use online websites when searching their home for a home in the United States. That's 93%. These numbers are staggering. I remember in days when we were talking about 50% of buyers are going to be online. So we're getting to a point where we've crossed over 90% are on cell phones now. So you want to make sure that your websites are cell phone capable, which means that if you have the right one, it should translate well onto cell phone sizes. And for everything you do, always check what you create. And I always look at my cell phone, I'll look at it and I'll say, okay, does this, for me, the consumer, is it easy for me to find the information I want them to find? So always pay attention to what you're creating on your cell phone. And if you're on an iPhone and you have a friend with a Droid, I highly recommend you get your friend's Droid and you look at it as well. So you can see them moving. Any questions?
For what it's worth, if you're looking at using an outside vendor to build your website for you, what Tony's talking about, where the content on your website changes shape and it's displayed differently depending on the tool it's being viewed on, it's called responsive design. I'd be really disappointed if you had somebody helping you that isn't automatically developing it responsively, but you want to consider how it's portrayed on a laptop, but then also obviously how that information is displayed on a smartphone or a tablet. And the word is responsive. Sorry, Tony.
Yeah, no, that's
If
great.
you're talking to web providers, it's good to know the lingo.
Yes, yeah, I absolutely agree. So yes, you need a website. Buyers are there, they're searching websites. I use WordPress. WordPress is the big guy right now. WordPress has all the plugins. The plugins make everything. So yes, there are other types of sites out there that are photocentric, or they're supposed to be WYSIWYGs, which is meaning what you see is what you get. So they make it easy for you to work with. However, WordPress dominates in the plugin world. It's the same thing that happened with Apple iPhones. They dominated by letting everybody create their little apps, right? And so did some gaming systems. So WordPress took that same path. So there's tons of plugins for IDX, MLS. So all I have to do is click a plugin and it puts all the houses for sale on my pages. I can put houses for sale in certain neighborhoods on neighborhood pages. So MLS IDX is a plugin. And then my absolute favorite plugin, which every person needs that has a WordPress site, is called Yoast, like toast with a Y. I spent a year studying with Google at a university when I was geeking out, when internet was coming to be and Google had just launched, and I spent some time with Google learning SEO. And the coolest thing for me now is that Yoast teaches you SEO automatically via the Google structure, and I don't have to teach it anymore. I could actually take a 16-year-old and plug them into the system, and Yoast will walk them through making sure it's SEO'd for Google. So Yoast is your new best friend. It's an amazing, amazing program. It is a plugin like MLS IDX for your WordPress. So do we have any questions at this point?
Nope, cruising right along.
Okay. So I think the key factor, and I'm gonna go ahead and share now, Brian, if that's okay.
Yep, please.
I'll pop over there and I'm gonna hit share screen. Can you see?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm gonna move this little box around. Okay. So what I discovered, let me move that guy. I was a secret agent for a very long time, and it was because I really couldn't relate to selling me. I couldn't relate to that at all. I couldn't relate to that type of marketing and advertising. It actually drove me to insanity, and it felt so icky and braggy, and I didn't like any of it. So what happened for me was, when I got to play with websites, I got to, this is my little secret, but I got to stay a secret agent. I was like flying under the radar. I didn't have to go out and knock on doors, and I didn't have to do any of that stuff because I was working on this thing. So it was my way of getting away from doing prospecting and all that stuff I didn't want to do. So it started building a couple of people that are echoing.
Got some background.
Yeah, it might be,
I found it.
yeah, whoever doesn't have mute on, please mute. So I started with the website ctucsonhomes.com, which you can see on your screen. Is that true, Brian? Can you
Yes.
see that?
Yep.
Is it sharing?
ctucsonhomes.com.
Okay.
Yep.
So you can see what I have here is on ctucsonhomes.com. You can see I'm actually really selling Tucson, Arizona, not Tucson real estate. Okay. So it dawned on me that I could easily go out and talk about my favorite restaurant. I could talk about my favorite local shop. I could talk about all these great things that I love about Tucson, Arizona, and I didn't have to talk about me. Now I'm there. Obviously, there's a page about Tony Ray, but it's not screaming here, right? So when the consumer arrives, and I would highly recommend, you can steal anything I have is yours. Just remember, don't steal my words, because that's an SEO no-no, and will sandbox your page if you copy content from any other site. They can tell. So this is why those boxed websites do not work, because they come with copied content. They sell the first one to Brian, and then Candace gets number 2, and Candace and Nichelle were both just sold number 3 and 4, and now that's all copied content because it's a box site. So I want to stay away from that. But my point with the website is, if you're struggling on your outline, and this is an outline, here's your buttons. Home, everybody has a home, right? We go to the home page. And then we have buyers, sellers, homes for sale, about. Tucson info would be your city info. And then we have a contact button. So there's your outline. You now know how to build your website. You can see the drop downs on mine, and you can actually say, hey, I want to write about fun things to do in Albuquerque. So start writing about fun things to do in Albuquerque. So it's really easy. You don't have to reinvent this wheel. It's already done for you. All you have to do is look at mine and take the favorite things, the stuff you love, take it off of there. You will have your own. You'll start creating as you go along. So there's different types of websites. So I want to knock those out since we're talking about them. Websites that you want to consider is, everybody should have a page on their broker's site. And that's not really a website. That's a page on their website. So I see a lot of confusion around that. A lot of agents in Tucson will tell me that they already have a website. And when I look at the website, it's really a subdomain of the broker's website. So that's not bringing traffic or attention to them. It's bringing it to the broker's site. Yes, they could get some traffic, but it's a lot less likely because it's really the broker's pages, and there's a lot of agents under those pages. You do need to be there though. And the main reason is, in case someone does find you on the broker site. I'm with Remax, so I want them to find me on the Remax site if that should happen. The other reason though is because there'll be a link, hopefully, from the Remax site down to my C Tucson home site. Now, Google loves giving you street credit, and the way you get that is bigger sites linked to your site. So we're going to go over SEO in a little bit, but the reason I want to be on the Remax page is they're way bigger than me. So if there's a link from them to me, Google says that's street credit because this guy is on the big site that's already proven themselves, and we're going to give him some SEO credit for that. So I hope that makes sense. So be on your broker site for sure. Then there's blog websites. That's how WordPress started, was blogging, right? People, there's an SNL skit called The Blogger. If you ever watched that one? And she's really shy, and she's hooded, and she's constantly blogging because she doesn't want to be in the real world outside with people. So she's a great blogger. So blog sites started allowing people to get out their message and say whatever they wanted. And it did really well, and it still does well. There's websites with a blog on them. For example, my website, somewhere on here, we have a blog. So you can see there's a blog button. So I could jump in and talk about whatever I want, and it's timed data. I could go in and say, man, the market just cooled off, and we just got some inventory back in Tucson, so buyers should be happy. And I could write a blog that is timed information. It is not evergreen information. Evergreen meaning it can last for many years on my site and not need changed. So a website like I have with a blog allows me to have the functions of a website with a lot of evergreen content for consumers that I don't have to worry about. And then it also allows me to have a blog in case I want to jump in and say something that's current and happening today. Then I saw some of you had websites with lead gen that lead to a CRM. And so those are a different type of site. Booge, I believe, is one of them. I saw somebody popped up Booge, and there's some other really cool ones out there. And those typically, from what I've seen, you have to have paid, you have to pay somehow to get leads generated back over to that site besides the other stuff you do in your marketing. So it's very hard for a lead gen site with a CRM to work without paying a lot of money to get leads to it, unless you treat it like a regular website like mine, and you treat it with that respect that I treat this with, which is me talking to people about Tucson, Arizona, and selling that. So you can take a website with lead gen that allows you to create pages. I would take that website, keep it, let the lead gen keep sending things to the CRM because they have great follow-up systems. But I would make sure you understand it's still your job to get into that site and create new pages and create content, because you want to sell your city, and that's what gets you free traffic.
Question, Tony?
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on hosting? So one of the participants asked, who do you host your site with?
Everything I do now is with GoDaddy. And I work with GoDaddy because they like WordPress, they grew to a very sophisticated point where I can actually, when we had a big wire fraud, most realtors know wire fraud became a big deal across the United States. When we had wire fraud, I was able to contact GoDaddy and up my security systems. So everybody goes through authentication and high security to get through to me, so that we're not allowing people to hack information and so forth. So plus GoDaddy is very reasonable, and they have all kinds of tiers of help. So you can get a lot of help from those guys.
One other quick question. In terms of frequency, how often are you trying to add to the evergreen content on your website?
That's great. Any content at all, my rule is 1 page a week. So our goal on all of our sites is to get 1 new page a week. It shows Google that we're updating, and it allows us to create some new content that's relevant to our new consumers. That sounds difficult, but a page is about 300 words or more. So you just need 300 words. That's really probably half a page of written information or typed information. It's really about half a page. So it's easy to do, especially because I would guess, how many people out there right now are using reviews on Google or Yelp? Actually, tell me yes, you're doing that. How many people are reviewing on Google or Yelp right now? Please put in the chat yes, that you're doing. Are we get any no's?
I have not yet seen a no. Got a no, but doing it on Google.
Yeah, Google or Yelp or both, right? We're a society that's out there right now reviewing restaurants.
And you mean specifically, how many people are we asking to review us, right? Our real estate service and
No.
adding it to Google or Yelp?
No, absolutely the opposite. How many of you, sorry, I should have been clear. How many of you are giving reviews about your favorite food, who's using Google to post reviews? Because this is interesting. Pretty much almost a lot of people will write a review about somebody, whether it's a good review or a bad review. People jump on and they're willing to use Google or Yelp to say this food was delicious. And food porn became a big deal, right? Like 5 years ago, food porn was huge. Everybody was joking about pictures of food, right?
So a much higher percentage is not doing that. So what's the benefit of giving a review?
So those of you who are using making reviews are already creating content for your website. If you're going to go on and review a restaurant in your city, before you put it on Google, write the review, put it on your website page, get credit from Google for that content. And then after it's published on your pages, take the review and post it to Google and Yelp. And there's a trick to that, because you put it on your site first, it gets indexed with the Google search engines first on your site, which means the content came from you. And then you post that content onto Google or Yelp, and now you've repurposed the same information. We talked about Google and the business pages. I think, was it last time, Brian, we talked about that?
First time. First one was social media, part one.
Social media, first one. Google's massive, and they know your authorship. If you're posting a review on your site and writing about it, like, for example, I'm going to show you here. Here's our restaurants we love. We'll see if I can get some speed here today. So here's our restaurants popping up, and here's what we've written. So on Calle Tepa, we wrote something. It was one of our favorite little places. You can see these are all the little spots. So if I click on these, they're going to give me, the viewer, a whole write-up, and then I copy pasted that over to my Google review. You can see we forgot a photo there too. So that review goes to Google first. I got credit for it on See Tucson Homes, and then I can copy paste that to Google, and Google says, he's the author on that page over at See Tucson Homes, and it gives me more credit because I'm the author. And Google knows you're the author because you're going to connect your website address to your Google business. So they're really looking at you right now on this kind of stuff. So if you're a realtor who's active and you're out there and you're giving away love to other companies, your local businesses who you should be supporting, when you do that, it comes back. So law of commerce working there.
Tony, are you, how intentional are you? So we do our Calle Tepe review on your website. How much time needs to expire before you go on to Google or Yelp and actually physically copy and paste that review? You talk about how it indexes and makes you the author, right?
Yeah.
How much time does Google need to recognize you as the author?
I want to say it's date timed immediately by the second, but I don't know that for sure. So I'm kind of a paranoid on that one. So I will typically post on my site, and then I will post it, the copy paste the following day. But according to what I see, it's indexed by the second. So technically, if I put it in at 9:01, by 9:02, it should be credited to me. I mean, it should have been within a second, I think. And if anybody knows the answer, I would love to know if there's any other answer than that, because I have always thought that too. So here's the cool thing. What I've discovered is, for example, yesterday on the way back from San Diego, I wanted to give a couple reviews. So while I was at restaurants that we had really good service in San Diego, I actually took my phone and took pictures of the food in the front of the restaurant and the inside of the restaurant. I took photographs and left them here, right? But on the way home, I just hit voice record and I recorded on my notes. I would say, hey, this restaurant's amazing. We had the lobster bisque and the tenderloin, and I have to tell you, they were both above and beyond what I expected. So I can write really quickly just by talking onto my notes page on my iPhone, and then I can copy paste that and clean it up, and I put it on my page, and now I have content. So that's a really easy way for you to start creating a website. And again, the cool thing is, we're not writing about ourselves. In our about section, there will be a page about us, right? Obviously, we all have, that's no problem writing a thing about who we are and what we do and what our values are and so forth. Once that's up, that's evergreen, unless you change brokerage firms or change your email address or something like that. That should stay pretty much for a long time. But what's going to change all the time is you're going out to eat with your clients, and you want to support the new local restaurant and the new local places. And we should be supporting these people. Otherwise they go away and then you don't get to go there anymore. And we just lost one of my favorite Thai restaurants, which just broke my heart. And now I'm the one suffering. I love that restaurant. And so if you don't want things to go away in your city or your town, you got to start supporting local. You got to get out there. And one of the coolest things you can do is start doing it through websites. It's going to be a win-win-win-win-win-win because you're going to get credit for the content. You're going to make other people happy. You're going to share it with your clients on social media and bring them back to your site. There's so many cool ways to use this. And let me tell you, I just got notified from Google that my posts, my reviews just hit 375,000 viewers. And at the very top, it says Tony Ray Baker Remax at the top of every one of my posts in that little Google circle that they create for you. So everybody sees I'm a realtor in Tucson, Arizona, of those 375,000 people who have reviewed my posts. And all of my posts are just, hey, I love this restaurant. The food was great. I mean, I'm talking about my local shops. Repurposing is huge. It is the best thing you can possibly do. Take information and keep using it over and over and over. But I want you to be very clear. I want you to make your website the first place any information lands. So you put it on your website and hit publish, and then you repurpose. Okay? Is that clear, Brian?
Yeah, it's clear for me. And just a heads up, it's 12:05, right? From a timing perspective, we've got about a half hour left.
Yep. Thank you. So one of the other things we just discovered, which is really, really cool, we should have done this before, but we're just getting into it now, is if you can see here, I've got Kakai Restaurant, which is one of our favorite ramen spots. It's homemade from, the guy is just amazing. So what we're doing now is we're actually going straight over to the owners of these restaurants and our little favorite local shops, which we're doing one today. As soon as I'm done with this class, we're going to go interview a little local women's boutique shop that all the girls love. And we're going to go interview the owner. And what we can do now, which is really great, is we can go and videotape the interview. And you can see there's a bunch right in here where we did videos. And in the interview, we'll get them on the video. And now I'm going to link that from YouTube. So I have it now. I've got a YouTube video on my YouTube channel. And then I've got the owner, and Darren's interviewing the owner here. And if I click on this, Darren asks the owner a bunch of questions like, how do you get started? And how in the heck did you end up doing Japanese food? And he tells his whole story, which is really cool. Our community gets to meet the owner, which is rare, but it's really cool. You get to meet the owner. And we get to send people over to his restaurant. And what you can see is, here's the pictures that we took while we were there eating the ramen. But here's the cool part. Google doesn't SEO these videos yet, but they SEO content. So you put this video into a transcriber and look what it did. It actually transcribed all of the conversation that went on between Darren, Michael, and myself. All of that's original content. All I had to do is copy paste it, clean it up to make sure it was transcribed properly, because sometimes if you have an accent or you speak too fast like I do sometimes, words don't come out right. So just check it. The WordPress Yoast plugin made sure I was putting this all correctly for SEO. It yelled at me a couple times. I fixed what it wanted and I hit publish. Now I have content, I have photos, and I have video. I can take this information now and go anywhere I want and repurpose it because it's already been credited to me on my page. So now I'm going to take this and I can put social media posts that say, you're not going to believe what the owner of Kakai told Darren today about ramen. And I can make a post and lead them back to my page. I can put it in my app. We have our own app. So I have an app of all of our favorite things to do in Tucson. It's my mini website on an app. I can put it on the Faces of Tucson now, which is what we're getting ready to do, is start putting, we want to put video over there if we can do that. And I need to ask Brad about it, Brian, but I think we can. Because I want to start getting our videos now, because these guys are going to be on the Faces of Tucson. So the cool thing here is repurposing is very easy once you just make a video. you have all the content you could possibly need. And I could take clips out of the video and use them as teasers. So the funnier or the weirder, the better. It grabs people's attention. So you could do a 5-minute clip and get people back to your website. The reality is this. It's such a, besides the fact that it just feels right to do this, it comes around over and over and over. We now are having a holiday party, and one of the people we interviewed is going to come do this. And I'm really apologize because I'm super dried out right now because I just got back into Tucson and I was living in San Diego beach air, and I had the windows open the whole time in the hotel room because I was over the ocean. And we got here and we were like, there's no water in our air. So the beautiful thing is, like, we're having this holiday party coming up and we're inviting 100 clients. And one of the guys we just interviewed, he did a cooking show for us and taught us how to make cookies out of mesquite pods, which fall on the ground all day here. And these chocolate chip cookies are amazing. So he's going to come and cook for all of our clients. He's going to make cookies, and we're giving all of our clients his product. And it's just a win-win. It's just creating such cool things in our community to be able to connect everyone. Any questions about this? You can see on my site here too, if you go, I always try to add a little humor. So there's cactus humor because we're the land of saguaros. And this is a mural up here. We have Joe Pagic and some other absolutely amazing muralists in Tucson, and they're putting murals. This is a wall in front of a housing subdivision. You can see the house behind here. And of course I fell in love with it because I don't know if that's a chameleon or an iguana, but it's a lizard of some sort, and I love it because I have one on my head. So you can see also, if you go to my site at ctucsonhomes.com, again, copy me on everything. Here's our app in the Apple Store, and here's our app in the Google Store. Here's the Faces of Tucson page, which I'm going to show you a little bit in a second. Here's our relocation form. These are all things you should be really paying attention to and say, okay, if it's working for Tony Ray, there's a reason he's got it on there, because I don't leave stuff on my website that isn't working. There's no reason for it to be there. It's wasting real estate for me. So this is all good stuff for you to copy. Let me see where I was on my little notes here. So we talked about the different websites, and you can see for me that the big thing is to be able to create new pages and new content. And you're all getting into Google reviews. If you're not writing them, you're reading them. Before you go somewhere, you might read reviews. I mean, we all know what they are. So become a reviewer. And again, do it to the website and then do it on Google. And you're going to see a lot of juice from that. I want you to think of a website, though. This is really the powerful thing that's set for me is I have a RE/MAX office that I can go to. It has a conference room, and I can take people there and meet with them. But the reality is that I want the Tony Ray office. And I just left my broker of 20 years. And the reason I was able to leave the broker very clean and easily and go to my new broker was because I had created my own business online, which is my website. It is my virtual office. It is everything I want everyone to see, and it is all about me, and it's my world. And as you can see, I have the RE/MAX information up here, the broker, and as you scroll down, there's me with the iguana on my head on the front page. There's all kinds of information here. I think I'm in violation based on what I'm just seeing right now, so I have to fix that. It looks like I need to get this up on that line. It looks like it dropped off when we made the move over, so I need to fix that. Put a phone number up there in my name. So when you look at this, this is me, right? This is my office. I'm virtual. That's my office. My goal in life is to use every platform I could find, anything in any way, to get people to hear. Because if I can get Brad into my website, he's probably never going to talk to another real estate agent. Remember that the stats are the first agent they talk to is most likely the agent they work with. If the consumer finds you first and they like you, they're going to stay with you. They're going to build trust with you. And here's what happens. They read my language about this restaurant that I love, or they watch a video of me or Darren interviewing someone, they get to know us, and all of a sudden the familiarity levels just start rising. And so it's really tough as a consumer. If you like me or Darren, if you like our writing, it's hard for you to leave because you start connecting. Now, the other really cool thing is, if it's a shithead I don't want to work with, excuse my French, they're going to leave instantly. They're out. So guess what? We've had 26 years of bliss. We rarely have a client we don't like because we're authentic here on that website. People read our language, they see us, they get to know us. And being authentic here means I get the best clients. I will invite to a party, I will invite 1 to 200 clients to a party at just like that. And it's not, there's no question in my mind, they're all going to get along. They're all like people. So it's a really cool environment we create when we start doing this. And that's how you build your referral business, is bringing all those people together. So I want you to think that that website is your virtual office. And remember, you want it to present you as you in a very authentic way. This is, I'm very graphic. I love pictures and I love video. I'm a very visual person. So this is very visual because that's my way, right? And most of the pictures you'll see on the site were taken by me because I'm out shooting photos and figuring out they're going to become a page. So that's authentic, and people get that, they feel it when they're here. And that's how we get people to raise their hand. And the goal of everything we do is to get them to make contact with us once they're in our office. So the way we get them to make contact with us is we use this little form right here. So you can see that it says home buyers free relocation package. There's other things you can offer besides a relocation package. I'm definitely going after a niche here, and that's people not in Tucson. These are people coming to Tucson. And I'm doing that intentionally because these folks do not have a realtor. They don't know a realtor. They're not connected to somebody in Tucson who has a realtor. They're coming in usually brand new, and I know how to help them, right? So I want to give out a free relocation package. I make it very simple for them to get through to me. Just name and email and phone number is optional. And I have a system. If they hit the send button, I respond back. And my response is very easy. It just says, hey, got your relocation request. Happy Tuesday. So they know it's not an Autobot. And I say, are you looking for help with rentals or purchasing or both? And I question mark and send it right back. What happens is if they engage, 90% of them become our client. If they don't engage, then we try again and again. And if they stop after 3, we don't get through, we're okay letting them go. They might come back later. We do about 8 to 10 million every single year because of that little form.
There's a question here, Tony, that may need some clarification. And John Testa, if you want to unmute for a second, the question reads, do you need a release form to market them on your website? And I'm not sure exactly what's being asked there, but you don't have any sort of.
Yeah, I know exactly. No, when you go and video somebody, they're consenting. I mean, I'm going there anyways and saying, hey, I think he's talking, is that right, John?
That would make sense, yeah.
Interviewing our locals. I have never I mean, we've been doing this for 20 years since websites started, I started doing this, but no, I've never had somebody say, I don't want the publicity. I have had some shy people who say, oh, I don't want to be on the video, I'm afraid. But Michael from Kukai was amazing. He started sweating. He was so nervous about being on the video, but he did it. And you could see how sincere and humble he is as a person, and it just makes you want to help his business more because you got to meet Michael. So no, I've never had anybody sign any type of waiver saying that we're going to put. The other thing is, if somebody said, hey, we don't want that on the site, I would just remove it immediately, but I haven't had that ever happen. So And
Okay.
they're usually really excited. And of course, when I post something on social media that says, hey, we just interviewed Michael at Kukai, I'm going to tag Michael at Kukai, right? I'm going to tag his personal page and his business page. If I've got him, whatever I can, I'm going to tag so he sees it, and that he gets to go and see what we did for him. So it's pretty cool. That's a great question. Anything else on that? So I'm gonna, my thought process for you is, how do you get traffic? You got to get traffic over to your site, and content is number one. Google looks for content. So your goal is writing 300 words. And the minute you cross over 50 pages of content, Google really recognizes you. So if you made it a goal just to sit down 5 days a week and write a page of 300 words or more and just really knock this out, in 50 days, you would have Google really paying attention to what you're doing. And you would start seeing more and more traffic on your analytics, which Google also offers for free. So other ways to get traffic to your website would be everywhere and anywhere you can put that website domain name, do it. So you would do it on your social media, realtor.com, your broker page, any post you ever make, it should be in your signature line so they could click and go there if they want. On your voicemail. For more information about our services, go to ctucsonhomes.com. That could be your tagline on every voicemail. It should be on your email signature. We do these little guys. Can you see my camera? Can you see me, Brian?
You're tiny. Yeah, you're really small.
These are Post-it notes. I don't know, they cost 30 cents a pack, but you get 20 of these little guys. Every time you send out a letter, a note card, anything to a client, we send these little Post-it notes in it. It doesn't change the price of the first class stamp. And the cool thing is it says ctucsonhomes.com across the top, and it has a picture that I took of a saguaro sunset. It's kind of faded for you, but it's real pretty, right? And it's got my name and phone number. Here's what we discovered. They pull these off and they stick them on things that go to their secretary, their assistant. They go to the boss. These Post-it notes travel. And I got this idea from Amazon.com when they started selling books back in the old days. And it's really amazing how this little penny ad, it's like a penny per ad, and it travels all over the place. And we now have people call us and ask us for the Post-it notes. So yeah, they want to, we have them in offices where we just supply people with them. They love them. So sticky notes, you can get pens. You've got bags like grocery bags, like these things, these big guys, right? These big grocery.
Where do you get your stuff from, Tony?
The sticky notes I've been getting from a girl who is local here in town. I always look for local first, obviously. It depends, like the bags, I just found a new vendor called customearthpromotions.com. And Custom Earth Promotion has a really nice bag and we just got a sample of it. It's actually customearthpromos.com. And they have a really nice bag for a couple of bucks a piece. And it's a big flat grocery bag with a bottom. So we're going to produce a whole bunch of those and give them away at events and things so that people have our website on there. So my point with that is anything and everything you can put that URL on, do it. They're not going to call you. You have to put your phone number in Arizona, but they're not going to call me. Oh, I got this pen and I wanted to call you. It's not happening. But they'll see the website and go there and they'll check me out and see if they like me and see if we're a fit, and they'll look at property. And so you want to get that URL. It's a very low-key way to let everybody come find you. And they like websites for that reason. The other nice thing for you is I found a lot of people looking at my website at 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning. Don't know why. But on the East Coast, it's a different time, or someplace else, it's around the world, it's a different time. And if they might be a completely different time zone, and I'm not talking to them at that point, but they're checking me out, which is cool. So easy content for you to think about would be, again, go to my website and look at what I'm writing about, especially in the Tucson info area. But remember, write about food, do food reviews, your favorite restaurants, write about local shops, We have a couple local shops that are really cool we're interviewing this week. Write about your favorite neighborhoods. If you look at, I think we have, let's see, downtown real estate. So we are specialists in the downtown area. We're known for the downtown. So I took every neighborhood in downtown and I wrote about the neighborhood. And I write, when you go there, you'll see I write about what's around the neighborhood, what's close to the neighborhood, what's the history of that neighborhood, just whatever it is you can write about the neighborhood. People love it. And you might now attract somebody who says, I only want to live in Armory Park because my keywords are Armory Park neighborhood. So write about awards. Tucson has what we call our accolades page, right? So we write about anytime we see Tucson in the news, whether it's national, local, or worldwide, we'll put the actual article, we'll rewrite what it is, our take on that article, and link them to the page on the article. So Tucson just ranked top 50 places in 2021 to visit. It ranked coolest city, which is very funny because it's not cool here. In temperature, it's just a cool city to be in. You can see Catalina Foothills took #1 in Arizona. These are all accolades. These are awards for our city. And so we tell our story about that award. So it's a great way to write about something, right? And then the other thing I really would encourage you to do is write about your hobby. So if you're a cyclist, you would write about cycling. You could have a whole page on the menu here. You could have a page called cycling. And you're going to attract other people who like to cycle because you're going to write about Tucson has a 130-mile loop for you to jog, walk, or cycle. It's famous. Cyclists come here to do this loop. So if I'm a cyclist, I'm going to write about the best bike shops in town. I'm going to write about the loop. I'm going to write about best trails. And that's all natural for you because you are doing it, right? So write about your hobby. I have a realtor who writes about horses. She had 20-some thousand people watch her horse video because she was, I don't even know what she was doing. She was showing people how to wrap a horse's leg or something. And it was crazy the amount of people she got to watch that video. If you knit or you crochet or you make quilts or you like, camping is a big deal right now. Why aren't we talking about all of our favorite campsites in your city or your state? Arizona has amazing campsites. So write about what you know and love, and it doesn't have to be real estate. People will be attracted to you because they connect to you. Does that make sense?
Quick question that was asked by one of the participants. What's your opinion about creating a domain name? Obviously, See Tucson Homes is some obvious benefit from a local perspective, but do you put a lot of emphasis on the importance of the domain name?
Yes, and thank you for the perfect segue into SEO. Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown on some SEO to write down. Content is #1. Google's going to give you traffic if you have great content. A page needs to be 300 plus words. You want to put them in often. So schedule 1 page a week if you have to. 1 page a day would be awesome. And don't duplicate content ever because then you'll be sandboxed. Conversational language, the way we're speaking right now, is the way Google wants you to speak on your pages. And your description of your page for Google, which we all know if we search something, we get a description of the 10 websites on that page. And those descriptions are written by you. The URL needs to have keywords in the URL that match keywords that will be on your site. The word Tucson and homes is constantly in my website. So I used See Tucson Homes. SEE is irrelevant. The Tucson and the homes is what's really relevant. So I'm matching the URL to answer that question. I'm matching the keywords into the URL. The words Tucson real estate, I actually own See Tucson real estate. Actually, I own TucsonRealEstateForSale.com. TucsonRealEstateForSale.com is amazing URL. People have offered me thousands of dollars for it, but the reality is everybody is using Tucson real estate. So I get more traffic because I focus on Tucson homes. If you click on TucsonRealEstateForSale.com, it takes you to a very specific page on my site that shows you all real estate for sale. So it's going to take you right to this page where it says homes for sale. If you click on Tucson real estate for sale, it'll take you right there. Now that's pretty cool for marketing because I can use the 2 different domain names and I can track them both in my analytics to see where my marketing is working. The other thing for your SEO to remember is that links from other sites give you street credit with Google. I call it street cred because I feel cool when I say it. Keywords in the content matching your consumer search. So if I'm writing about Tucson homes for sale and I put that into the content and the client writes Tucson homes for sale into Google, that's a match. Then internal links are a big deal. So once you get enough pages, you'll link one page to another. So if I'm here, I could be writing Tucson ranked the coolest city in Arizona, and that's pretty ironic because it also just ranked top 50 places to visit, and I could link that over to the article called top 50 places to visit. That's an internal link inside the site. Google loves it. Then big photographs, they want large photos, and they want you to put a description on the photo, which is called an alt tag. And that says, if you can't see this picture loading right now, what's here is a picture of downtown Tucson, Arizona with a mountain in the background. I'm going to write that in my description. So that's your SEO basics. I can teach a 3-hour class on SEO in a heartbeat.
No doubt.
So just so you know, that's just basics, but Yoast will help you, the plugin. Yoast will help you make sure those are all in line.
Yeah, that's great advice. I had a quick question too, it may be more technical than we have time for, but you just mentioned, and I think it's important when you're thinking about putting content on your website, you go to Google and see what people are searching for, right?
Yes. Yep.
Is that something super technical? Can you show them how they can go look and see in their market what people are searching for?
Yeah, I think if I remember, it's called.
And maybe it's a different session for another time, but this would be really helpful for people that are a little overwhelmed at the idea of creating content.
Yeah, really the way to create content is just to remember just to write about what you know about, and it's all going to work itself out for you. If you're writing about horses and horse properties and ranches and all that stuff, horse people are going to find you just because of that. So let's try this. So I'd have to find it for you, whoever it is that's asking this question. First of all, I'll make you a couple offers. I want to real quickly, we talked about another type of website, which is the Faces of Tucson. And here's the gem of the Faces of Tucson, which I want you to realize is they make this website for you. It gives you every reason to go out and meet all these people that you're seeing here. I get to go meet them. I have an exciting reason to go introduce myself, which is awesome. And the cool thing is in this instance, this person, Amanda, wrote her own content for me. So when she fills out the interview, all of the content is now here. All of that is for me. That's content on this page. And Amanda wrote it. So this is a content-driven site, but it's written by the consumer. Now, the other cool thing that's happening here, which we just discovered, is, for example, Kayla Joy just graduated and is looking for a job possibly, right? What's happened here is within 30 days, I had Kayla Joy #1 search on her name. So the Faces of Tucson says that she's been recognized there. An employer looking for her types in her name to do a Google search on her. They find the Faces of Tucson, and it says she's been recognized, which is what I write in the description. She's been recognized on the Faces of Tucson. Think about how cool that is from an employer point of view to see that she's been honored as one of the Faces of Tucson. I'm going to push this person up the page for who I might possibly hire. That's a really big honor. So it's really cool what's happening from this new angle, which is we're getting these folks within 30 days or less. I'm getting them #1 ranked on Google. And the cool thing is that takes typically a year on a website. So that's pretty cool for our folks out there. So the Faces of Tucson, whole lots of reasons to be there. It gives me every reason to go talk to all these beautiful people. I can take this content, put it up here. It's all done by them. And All I have to do is push a few buttons. So that's a very simple site.
And this links to your site, right? This links to your C Tucson Homes site, right? So you've got the link from a source that's generating a ton of traffic, which helps with SEO also.
Yep, exactly. And C Tucson Homes, if you remember, I have it on my site here. I have somewhere, there it is. I have it here so they can go over to the Faces of Tucson and find out what we're doing to recognize our local folks there. It's another win-win. It's just, it's such good karma. It's just scary, beautiful stuff happening from all these meetings and all these people. I will make an offer since we run out of time. This is my relocation package. I did create the relocation package on Canva, so it's very simple to do. Anyone can do this if you played with canva.com. This is my relo package. You are welcome to it. If you send me a note, if you email Tony Ray at ctucsonhomes.com, I will shoot you one back. And then you can have this relocation package. And the reason I would get it is because you could then copy the format and the idea and start creating your own relocation package. So you have something beautiful to give out to people coming into town. It's a wow factor because most agents would never have this. And it talks about, again, everything I love about Tucson, our favorite places to eat and go, and it's all in here. And it connects them back to sites, all the websites, and it tells them about our app. It actually has a page of all our favorite Tucson apps that they should know about. So everything is repurposed over and over and over. A lot of the content on my relo package is on my website or in my app. So I'm moving content, okay? And then the last thing, I know this is a little more complicated, but the reality is this. I'm running 3 businesses. I have a great life. That's what real estate gives me, is a great life, because I can do whatever I want, take 6 vacations a year, and I don't work nights and weekends, and I never have. I just found this new toy. I'm using this. I just parked it. It's called Trello. And I don't know these folks at all, but it is so intuitive. And what I'm doing now is I'm able to take my website. I can throw ideas here. And then my guys, I have 2 part-timers who work for me. And one is helping me now write content. I just hired a week ago. And one helps me with code writing. And they can follow along on this workflow board, and it's absolutely amazing. So if I need a new fix, I can tell him, add my name at top of site and number, right? My name and number. And I can hit add card, and now James will be, I can go here and assign it to James to get done. There you go. And I'm done. Now James has been assigned that task. When James gets the task done, all he has to do is grab the card and he can move it over into Tony Ray review, and I'll review it, and then we put it in the done file. So I can keep moving projects very easily for me or anybody else along that file. So dive into Trello a little bit if you want to manage things. It's like you can manage your kids' homework, you can manage your life, you can manage vacations, you can manage anything in this fun toy. And that, I know I'm 6 minutes over. Do we have questions?
They're coming. I'm trying to type and respond.
I have to tell you, I feel like I can't breathe right now because I literally taught this class for 2 days in the past, 8 hours a day. So I'm like, whoa, that was an outline.
It's a lot of information, Tony. You've been awesome as usual. Can you slowly say your email address again? There are lots of people interested in reaching out to you for the reload package.
Yep. So it's my website, which is ctucsonhomes.com, which you can see here. And it's Tony Ray, TonyRay at ctucsonhomes.com. And I want you to know what I did there, because you want to do the same thing. Your email advertises your website, not somebody else's. I have a Gmail account, but I don't advertise it because it's a Gmail. I'm advertising Tony Ray at ctucsonhomes.com because I'm advertising my website. Makes you a business.
Tony, we had 49 people when we started. We still have 38. That to me suggests the content was pretty compelling. So great job.
Thank you.
Here within the week, we will have a recording of this on the Broker Agent Advisor YouTube page, so you can rewatch any and all parts of this whenever you want. For those of you on here that are partners with us with the Faces Of, we'll also have it in our resource center. Yeah, Tony, soon enough, we have to, I guess for those that are here, we're on to session number 4. So we did social media, we did email, we did websites. So what will we do in October?
What will we do next? Let me find my little guy. Sorry, I wasn't prepared. And I'm willing to answer a couple questions, no problem too, by the way.
What do you use for your videos? Do you do that with your smartphone, or did you buy something a little more
nothing special? Yeah, I literally sit with this on a little baby tripod, and I sit it down and I interview whoever, or we stand and hold it. One of us holds it. I'll take another person with me. If it's a quiet area, the microphone on the iPhone or all the new Droid phones is so good. If it's a quiet area, you can pick up pretty much a whole conversation if you're close by. So I haven't had.
Sandy, you had a question about where to go to build your own website, and definitely WordPress is probably the most user-friendly, easy to edit content management system to build on, and GoDaddy is certainly a great resource for hosting. For what it's worth, yeah, outside of Faces Of, which obviously we work with agents all over the country, but I have a digital marketing company. So if I can help you kind of field any of those questions or point you guys in the right direction, we build WordPress websites all day, every day. So happy to be a resource and help you guys get squared away. This is, if you're not website savvy, this is a lot of content that Tony's provided today. But there's resources out there to get help.
Yeah, and if you're going to do it on your own to get started, which is, you know, I did it on my own, and it taught me everything I needed to know to now release it and be able to let somebody help me. But the reality is, if you go to GoDaddy and you sign up for a free WordPress site and hosting, it's whatever, 20 bucks a month or whatever, they give you everything there. So you can get started. Then you could go to get your ideas going. And then when you have more money and less time, go to Brian. You know, there's ways for you to do this. If you have lots of time and less money, now's the time to be writing content and getting someone to help you if you can't do it on your own. Get a college kid. I tell you, they grew up with computers. They're amazing how much they know and how much they help. I just had a college student for 2 years, and he was just absolute amazing on helping us with everything we did. I am trying to find that bubble diagram to see where we were on that, and my computer will not open it for some reason. You don't happen to have it, do you, Brian?
I probably could find it.
Found it.
Sure,
Okay.
There it is. Oh, there, okay, perfect.
So it was email, website, social media were the ones we did. So I'd say we might as well start down at the bottom left corner. We can do phone calls. Oh, let's do phone calls. Good gosh, this is a great time to be doing phone calls. Everybody needs inventory and the holidays, and it's good. It's a great time to chat with people. So let's do phone calls.
All right, sounds good. So you and I'll get together on the date. I'll post it in the events section with Bragg as soon as we determine that date. And yeah, again, I continue to be super impressed with how giving you are with your time and your interest in helping other people find success. And so thanks again for joining me this morning, Tony, and, you know, enjoy the rest of your week. And you and I'm sure we'll talk again real soon, and hope everybody that joined and was a participant today got something good from Tony. I'm sure there was lots to offer.
Thank you. Yeah,
it was great.
Something, holler at me. I mean, seriously, send me an email. I answer a lot of questions for realtors around the United States all the time. I'll get to you. I promise. Just send me an email. If you want my relocation package or you want something that I mentioned, I'll get you the information. So just send me an email and we'll chat.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Take care, you guys.
Have a great day.
Thank you.